Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Olivia and I am a stay-at-home, working from home mom to a 2-year-old, almost 3-year-old. I'm expecting baby number 2 in March of 2026. And basically this channel is around me and the hobbies that I do, which include right now mainly reading. Before it did include running, but since getting pregnant, I haven't really been running, so I hope to get back into that in 2026. And then doing crafts. Right now, the craft that I focus on is cross stitch, but I am always open to other crafting. And this video is basically going to be a November update. I have my iPad here with all my notes so that I can stay on track. All right, so let's get into it. So first up, one thing that I did this month that was book related. I did a lot of book related things this month, but first up is earlier this month I had attended a bookish night market, which was really cool. Basically, it was this group on Instagram called Not Your Average Book Club, and they put together this bookish night market with vendors and authors, and things like that. So one of the vendors there was actually a friend of mine, and her company called Treat Your Shelf that she has with her sister-in-law. And I'm so glad I was finally able to support her because she's based out in the West Valley and I'm in the East Valley. So this was like more central Phoenix where this was hosted. So I got to go buy a couple things from their booth, looked around, and it was super, super busy. I had one of my cousins come with me, and I'm really glad that she agreed to come last minute. And last minute, we decided to take a lift from her house to this event, and I'm glad we did because there was like no parking, or it was just like really hard to find parking, and I already have anxiety around driving, so I'm glad we lifted and that I did not have my son with me because there is no way I would have been able to push a stroller in this place. But it was awesome. There was one vendor that does a blind date with a book, and I did buy one of her blind dates with the books. Another vendor had embroidery, and I bought an embroidered Snoopy and Woodstock ornament. And then there's another one that they sold books out of like this little trailer. I forget what they're called. I think it's like prickly pear something. I've seen them around before, so I was excited to take a look and see what books they had. There was a lot of more stuff too. Like some vendors were like selling like flowers. Most of these were book related vendors, so like hats, keychains, Kindle covers and cases, bookmarks, you name it. But it was really cool getting to go to this. Next up, we had gone to Disneyland this month. It was our first time taking Luca. We wanted to make sure we took him before he turned 3 years old, because once he turns 3, we will have to pay for him. So he was still free. And my parents also came with us. This is also a big deal because this was Luca's first ever big road trip and trip in general. We've done like a little trip up north to Flagstaff with him before for my sister's graduation, but other than that, we haven't done any like super long periods of driving with him. And this kid did amazing. He always surprises us with how amazing he does with things. He kind of just goes with the flow, which I really appreciate. In the car, he just chilled. He, of course, had lots of snacks because my kid loves his snacks. Did download some movies onto the iPad for just in case, and he did get to watch the movies. He read a little bit of his book, so that was nice. But overall, he did awesome for a 6-hour drive going from, Arizona to Anaheim. Now, our first day there, which be the day that we arrived, we didn't go into the parks, but we did go into downtown Disney, and I knew that it was going to rain. So for just in case, I did put this cover that I had for his stroller that I had found on Amazon to protect him from the rain for just in case. And I'm so glad I purchased this thing because it really helped keep him dry and keep him warm, because it really started to rain that night. Like, I had a rain jacket on, but it still got wet. through it, like on my arms specifically, which I was not expecting. And unfortunately, I did not have my umbrella with me because I forgot that. So we did have to buy some umbrellas from CVS while we were there. But the first official day in the parks was a very, very rainy day. We just did 2 days, 1 day per park. So first day was at California Adventure, and I'm glad that it worked out this way because the first day was very rainy. The second day was not. So California Adventure, we get there in the morning. I think it was a little after 8. We did not rope drop. We had breakfast at our hotel, which was like about a mile away from the parks, and we just walked there. The first ride that we did was Monsters Inc., which was Luca's first ever ride. And afterwards, my husband asked him, "Hey, buddy, how did you like that?" And I think he was just so overstimulated and shocked. He was just like staring into space. So after that, we walked around. Overall, great day. We went on the Little Mermaid. We went on the Toy Story Mania. We did quite a bit, but by I think it was like between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, the rain did finally stop and it did start to clear up, which was awesome that it finally stopped raining. So we were able to take off our ponchos. Oh yeah, Luca had a little poncho on. It was so cute seeing him in a poncho. Um, but he did great. He did awesome. My dad and my husband did go on the Grizzly River run because they figured, well, we're already soaked from the rain. May as well go on this ride. And as you would expect it with being cold and rainy, they just walked right on. So I have a clip of that, which is really funny. But the second day, we went to Disneyland. It sprinkled, kind of drizzled rain a little bit in the morning, but then it stopped. So nothing compared to the first day, which was nice. And again, Luca did great. He did awesome in the lines. That was one thing I was concerned about, was how is he going to do in these lines? But for Disneyland, we did end up getting the lightning lane passes, which came in handy at times. I don't think we ever waited more than 30 minutes in a line. And that could be because with the rain, I think a lot of the locals canceled their day at the park, which worked out, especially with it being the first official weekend of Christmas at Disneyland. I was afraid of it being very, very busy, but we got lucky thanks to the rain. So that helped out a lot. And because it wasn't raining anymore, we got to see the parade, which was really cool for Luca. It was so cute. We're waiting in line for Alice in Wonderland at night, and he's just waving at all the characters. He's like, "Hi, Buzz. Hi, Woody." It was really sweet. It melted my heart. But yeah, we had a great time at the parks. Next, later in the month, we had a Friendsgiving with some friends. No kids, and we did something different this year. Rather than having Friendsgiving hosted at someone's house and we bring food, we decided to go to a restaurant. And I kind of liked this for this year, being pregnant and stuff. So yeah, it worked out. We went to a steakhouse, had a great time with our friends. It was, again, very rainy here in Arizona that day. Some of them did continue to do something afterwards, but I did not. I had my husband take me home because I was very tired. Unfortunately, I do tend to get insomnia even when I'm not pregnant, but with being pregnant, it kind of gets a little bit worse. And that night, I had some pretty bad insomnia where I was up at 2 in the morning and nothing I did could get me to sleep. And I had to wake up early anyway because that same day, I had got to go watch my best friend run her first ever half marathon. It was actually the same half marathon that I did last year for my first one. And so it was really cool getting to cheer her on. She did great. She did amazing. She finished it. And I told her, like, "I'm so proud of you. I think it's awesome that you did this." And now she is training for her first ever marathon we'll be doing on Valentine's Day. So I'm super excited to cheer her on for that. Hopefully next year, I'll be able to get back into doing races. Obviously, it just depends on like how I do postpartum, but I'm really proud of her, and I think it's awesome that she's challenging herself to these. All right, so now we're going to get into a lot of stuff that is more book and hobby related. So first things first, I've had my book club meetings earlier this month. The one that I have for Desert Readers, which is my friend who has her Treat Your Shelf company. She is the host of the Desert Readers with her sister-in-law, and they're more West Valley based. we had read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I really enjoyed this book. It was like a cute, cozy read. If you just kind of need something lighthearted, I highly recommend this book. There is a series, so I would consider reading book 2 probably, like next fall. But yeah, it was a cute little read. We met at the Changing Hands in Phoenix, which was my first time being at that one. I grew up near the Changing Hands that's in Tempe, so it was really cool getting to see this one. I did end up buying a book there, and the book that I bought was Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult, which was the book that I was reading for this month for my other book club. So many things to say about this book. It is a great conversation starter around race, because that's like kind of like the big thing within this book is that it does deal with race. I'm still digesting this because I just finished this book the other day, so I'm trying to still gather my thoughts because there are so many things to say. One of the things for me is, wow, what must it have been like for this author to write the chapters that she wrote from the white supremacist dad's perspective. Like, that's crazy to like have to put yourself into that thought and like the research that she would have done there. I mean, there's just so much like just putting herself into all these different perspectives of the nurse to her defense attorney. But I really enjoyed this book. I can't wait to talk about it later this month. Well, actually, we're in November. Later in December with my book club. I'm also looking forward to that book club because so instead of doing a Secret Santa gift book exchange, we are doing a blind date with the book / white elephant type thing. Instead of it being like completely blind, we have a format that we're filling out to put onto the book when we wrapped it. That way, we can kind of see, and it's kind of like white elephant based, but with a book. So I'm super excited. I still have to figure out what book I'm going to take for this, so we will see. And then with the other book clubs, I got distracted. The next book for December is Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. So it'll be interesting. This seems like it's going to be a light heart read as well, like a fun holiday book. So I will read that one once I finish my current read, which right now I am currently reading Before We Say Goodbye by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is the 4th book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. I'm actually almost done with this book. This is a book for me that I can finish in a weekend. It's really small, super quick, easy read. But something else book related within for November is that I have started doing the 75 booked challenge. If you don't know what that is, or if you haven't seen it on like your social media, whether it's on like TikTok or Instagram Reels, I'll just give like a really quick description of what 75 booked is. So 75 booked is you read twice a day for 45 minutes, and one of those places cannot be in bed. So for me, it's usually listening to an audiobook at my desk while I am working when I have the time, depending on what my work is. And then I will continue reading after we put Luca down for bed, and I will read here in bed. One of my goals is to start reading outside, so hopefully I can put that into more of my routine. Next is drink a bottle of, oh my gosh. Next is drinking a water bottle during those 45-minute reading sessions. That's just good for me in general. Being pregnant, I need to make sure I'm drinking lots of water. Then it is log your reading on an online format like Goodreads or Fable, and journal in a physical form. So I already have a reading journal. I've been trying to catch up on that. So this has been helping me with finally journaling my books, and then I use both Goodreads and Fable. A book buying ban, or just purchasing from like an independent bookstore or going to the library. So one exception I have made for myself with this rule is I will purchase, if I really enjoy a book club book, I'm going to buy a physical copy of it. So that is my one exception, but I am not buying myself any new books during this time. about 2 weeks into this, and it's been really awesome. I've been building more of a habit with reading, which I did have, but in this case I feel like I'm building a better habit with it, especially in the evenings. Instead of putting Luca down for bed and then coming straight into our room and throwing on the TV, I'm coming into our room, relaxing with the book, things like that. And I'm really trying to be better about my screen time as well. So this is kind of helping me with that. During this time of doing 75 booked, I read The Spell Shop, which I was already almost done with that book when I started doing the 75 booked. I read Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This was a book I was given for my birthday, and I'm so glad I finally read it. I'd heard good things about this book. And I'm also really glad I read this before they turned it into, I think it's becoming a Netflix movie. So that'll be really interesting to see how that turns out. Because this was such a cute read. Oh, I teared up a few times. And yeah, I recommend it. And then, of course, I read Small Great Things. So those are the books that I've read. And then I've been on my Kindle my side quest book, as I'm calling it. I am reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. If you're not aware, I am going through the Harry Potter books for the very first time because I've seen the movies, I've just never read the books. So I am reading the books for the first time, but also listening to them. Growing up, I grew up with my mom listening to the books and reading them. It's just I myself was not much of a reader as a kid, which is unfortunate. I think it's because in school they made reading such a chore, and if something feels like a chore, I'm not gonna be into it. So it was hard for me as a kid to find stuff to read that I enjoyed. There were a few things that I read, like I read The Lovely Bones, I've read Howl's Moving Castle, which because I love the movie, which those are two, they have like some small similar elements, but at the same time the book and the movie are very different. Let's see, I forget what else I read. Oh yes, a book I really loved when I was a kid was Stargirl. I don't know who the author is, but if you know that book, I freaking love that book. And the other books that author did, I think there was one like called Hoot and something with a fish. So yeah, those are like some books that I read. And then I did also read the Goosebumps books when I was a kid. So that was kind of like my introduction to like the creepy, because I've always been into like the creepy, spooky type stuff. Just not all the time, but yeah. And then I did read some of the what are they called? The Chicken Soup for the Soul books. There was one that was like Chicken Soup for the Girl's Soul. And then I did one of my uncles, he had given me a comic book that was a series of the Peanuts books. But I can't remember if this one was just the regular comics or if this one was like more winter-based comics. But I just remember reading those as a kid before going to bed when I was having trouble. So, but I wasn't like a big reader, especially like how my sister was growing up. My sister was definitely the reader between the two of us, which I'm sure my mom loved because my mom loves reading. She always has. So yeah, but I'm glad that I finally am reading now. So I'm sorry for that whole long tangent. Anyways, so those are the books that I read during the 75 booked challenge. Long story short, with the Harry Potter thing, I am reading through them for the first time. I'm enjoying the books. So many more details in the books than in the movies, and I'm really sad that some of these details are not in the movies. So yeah, but that's what I've been doing for 75 booked. Yesterday I went on a audiobook walk. This was hosted by Not Your Average Book Club, and it was really cool. Basically, they posted on Instagram, hey, meeting in downtown Gilbert, to listen to an audiobook while we walk. And it was a 2-mile walk. I was listening to Before We Say Goodbye. I'd gotten started on that book during the walk, and it was fun. Afterwards, we went into the book shop, and I was surprised with being given a free drink ticket, which was awesome. So I got myself a little iced gingerbread latte, and it was delicious. Yeah, then I came home. We had a chill day yesterday. It's actually been a pretty chill weekend for us. If you're not aware, it's a Thanksgiving weekend, so there's that. But I'm gonna keep an eye out for other activities that Not Your Average Book Club will be hosting. A craft update is that I have not been able to do crafty Christmas gifts for people like I had intended. I think I probably should have came up with this idea for myself at least in August so that I could have gotten started and figured out really what I wanted to do. So, yeah, I think what I will do instead is just like last year, I'm going to make boxes of cookies for people. So I need to make a list of like all the people and how many cookies I want to make. But luckily, a lot of people that I see them in different increments so I can spread out the baking. So I'm going to do. And then with it being Thanksgiving weekend, we have started putting up our Christmas decor. You can see one of my little birdies I've gotten in the past from Target. I love that they have like little names. I have no idea what that one's name is, but I mainly would get the birds for Christmas. A couple that were for like Halloween. I have like one de los Muertos bird that I keep out all year long, but yeah, we're starting to put out the Christmas decorations on Friday. My husband put up our Christmas lights. We keep it real simple, just a string of lights across the house. We would love to get some inflatables, but they're so expensive, so maybe next year. And then yesterday we started putting up the ornaments, which was so fun. Luca had an amazing time helping putting up the ornaments. It was so cute. I gave him the non-breakable ornaments to put up, and he was having so much fun that when I told him, okay, we're done, he was not happy. So we are considering getting him his own little like felt tree so that he can take the it's like one of those sets that you can get and you can put it on the wall. So we're considering getting that for him because he's having so much fun. But I also love seeing how he's understanding the concept of Christmas and Santa. I don't know, it's just so awesome watching him grow up and understand these things. So yeah, we had a great time doing that, but hopefully I can finish the rest of the Christmas decorating today, and then we can put the boxes away and like tidy up in our dining space / kitchen. Lastly is pregnancy. Pregnancy wise, I have been doing really good. I am 24 weeks. Crazy to think that there's only a couple more months left. That's insane. It's coming up fast, but I am a mix of excited and terrified all at the same time. I do talk about giving birth in therapy because sometimes I go, yeah, you've done this before. And then I go to, oh my gosh, this is horrifying. But when I gave birth to Luca, it was honestly such a blur. And he came quick. It was my water broke at like 1 in the morning. And then he was here 7:55 a.m. that same day. So it was only about 7-hour labor that I had with him. I was this close to missing the epidural. So I'm so glad. But they say like after your first, they come quicker, and I'm terrified for potentially not being able to get the epidural. So yeah, we will see. We'll see how that goes. But we had an ultrasound, the anatomy scan, and confirmed baby is a girl. So the blood test did not lie to me. So yeah, baby is a girl. She's doing good. I actually have to go in later this week for extra imaging because we were not able to get enough images of her heart. Nothing's wrong. She just wouldn't turn over so that we can get images of her heart. So hopefully this time around she cooperates, but I'm excited to see her again. So that was my update. I hope everyone is doing good. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see you again next time.